Good afternoon, everybody. Today's recording is going to be for UFC Fight Night, Burns versus Morales. This fight is at the Apex card. And just before we get started, if you're watching this for the first time, please hit the like and subscribe button if you could. That would be greatly appreciated. Trying to grow this channel one little step at a time. And anyways, let's get rolling on this card. So the first fight of the night is going to be Luana Pinheiro versus Tisha Pennington. Now on this fight here, when Luana Pinheiro first came in, I had high hopes for her. I thought she was a good striker. I thought her grappling was going to improve, and I really had hopes for her becoming a well-rounded fighter. But it just hasn't happened. And I've got her labeled as one of my number one quitters on the female side, that is. And like for instance, in her first fight ever, she was beating Marcos, and Marcos gave her an illegal kick or an illegal knee, and Pinheiro looked fine to me, and she claimed that she couldn't go on. And then there was another fight where Pinheiro got knocked out in the third round, and she bellied up and just quit. She has like 3 to 4 minutes of cardio, and that's it. She will be the more powerful striker. I don't know as if she's going to be the better striker, because I don't think that's the case. I think Pennington is going to be the better striker, and I think once we get late in this first round, Pennington's just going to take over. So I like Pennington as a parlay piece. I also have a sprinkle on second round and third round KO. There you can see that at a plus 3,100 and a plus 3,500. This has dropped significantly in the last couple of days. I believe the other day it was plus 3,500 and then like plus 3,800, but it's dropped a couple, pennies in the last couple days. And at least for myself, I'm just going to be putting like maybe $2 a piece on these at the most. That's what I mean by a sprinkle. I mean, it's worth a shot because we've seen Pinheiro quit before, and Pennington is one of my top parlay pieces, though, just to let you know, and I will pull those up at the end. So now we go on to our next fight, which is going to be Sung Young Park versus Carlos Hernandez. Sung Young Park comes from Road to the UFC. I have a tendency to fade these fighters. There's only a handful, 1 or 2, that are any good. And also we haven't seen Park in like a year and a half. Now he does have some power, but how much power we don't really know, because he hasn't really fought anybody in the UFC yet. Now with Carlos Hernandez, he really doesn't have much power, but he's going to fight for your money. So Carlos Hernandez is one of my favorite dogs to take a shot with on this card at a plus 155. I think as the fight goes on, I think Carlos Hernandez is going to be the minute winner also as this fight gets deeper into the rounds. So another good look could be the plus 3.5. I think it's a minus 150 right now. That basically just means that Carlos Hernandez has to win 1 round. So that's a good look. And I do like the over. The only concern would be, I don't think Hernandez gets him out of there, because Hernandez doesn't have much power, so I think the over is a solid look. That's pretty much that for that fight. And then our next fight is Denise Gomes versus Elise Reed. I think Gomes is just going to be better everywhere. Whether or not she gets a finish, I mean, personally, I don't think she does, but I know there's, some people that think she will. But she's a minus 600 for a reason. She's going to be better wherever this fight goes. She's going to be a little bit better on the feet, which is where Reed wants it, but she's really going to be better if it goes to the ground. So my pick is definitely Gomes, but I have no play on this fight at all. The next fight is going to be Luana Santos versus Lisboa. Lisboa is a young fighter, and they're both going to want to grapple. Well, they both can grapple. Santos should be slightly better grappler / wrestler, but Lisboa will be the minute winner on the feet and the better striker, in my opinion. So if I'm Lisboa, I try and keep this standing. And at a plus 140, I lean Lisboa before I will Santos. I think whoever is the dog in this fight is who I'd be on. So it's dog or pass for me. This is another fight that I'm not going to have any wagers on at all, not even on the over. I could see it going over, but it's just not one that I got a great feeling about one way or the other. So I'm not going to be touching that over at all. So that's that fight. On to our next fight. We got Delval versus Connor Matthews. Matthews is pretty much a punching bag. He's one of the worst fighters in the UFC. And we don't really know what we have with Delval. It's his UFC debut, and we don't really know what we have with him. But this, in my opinion, is 100% a setup fight. So at a minus 475, I mean, it's worth a parlay piece. Actually, I just looked. It's ballooned up to a minus 575 now. So my recommendation with this fight here would be, let's see what the number is inside the distance is a plus 110. That's not a bad look, but according to DraftKings, they've got the KO prop at plus 225, the submission at plus 330, and the decision at plus 130. So they have no idea which way he's going to win. So for me, I'm just going to enjoy the fight and stay away from it. But my pick is definitely Yadier Delval. On to our next fight. We have Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. This here is a great fight. I mean, Moises started out as a 170 as a minus 170 favorite. He is now a plus 102, and Jared Gordon is a minus 122 favorite. So this here has good fight written all over it. I think Jared Gordon is going to be a little bit better on the feet. I think he's going to be the minute winner on the feet. But if it goes to the ground, Moises is definitely going to be the better grappler. So if I'm Moises, I'm going to try and take him down. But Gordon's not like dead on the ground either. So this fight here, I could see it going either way. I don't have a stake in either side. I can make a strong case for either side. I see a 29-28 decision either way. But the one thing I am using in this fight is I love the over 2.5. It's a minus 330. That I do like a lot. And I will be pulling those plays up towards the end. As we get closer to the end, I'm going to pull up my one parlay that I'm playing, and then a couple of singles that I've got a few dollars on. This card here, I'm being a little more selective. I don't have a great read on a lot of these fights, so I'm going to try and take it a little easy this week. So, and then our next fight is going to be Gabe Green versus Mateus Camilio. Now, Camilio is also a new fighter. This is his debut. And Gabe Green, we haven't seen him in a hot minute here. And if it's Green of old, I actually like him to fight for our money here. And at a plus 185, I think it's worth a sprinkle. I haven't done it yet, but I'm more than likely going to put a little bit on Gabe Green. I think Camila is going to have more power, but I think at a plus 190, looking at Green is not a bad look. On to our next one. It's going to be Julian Erosa versus Costa. Now, this one here I've gone back and forth on. I think Costa's, well, let me put it this way. Both of these fighters can grapple, and both are high volume strikers. But Erosa doesn't have much of a chin, but Costa doesn't have much power. So I lean towards Erosa being just a little bit better on the ground, and maybe a little more of a high volume striker also. So I'm going to take a stab with Erosa at a plus 140, and a sneaky play on this one, mainly because of Costa's ability to get a knockout, which I don't think he will though, is the over 2.5 at a plus 124. That I will be playing. Let me see if I got it here anywhere. Actually, I got two different options here. I got Erosa Costa over 2.5 at a plus 124, or start the third round at a minus 115. They both have really good shot at coming through, I think. So I'm going to be doing one or the other. I'm not going to do both. I'll probably I'm a sucker for plus money. So I'll probably take the plus 124 and just hope like heck we get past 2.5 rounds. And then my next play is going to be Rizzybolov versus Stoltzfus. And Rizzybolov is going to be the better striker. So I'm expecting Rizzybolov to get a KO. And I believe a first round KO is only like a plus 100. So, but a knockout for him is like a minus 135. If this fight gets halfway through the second round, I would definitely hedge, because if it gets past the midway point of the second round, then it's probably going to end up being Stoltzfus taking over and just grappling and basically, I'm not going to say laying on him for 2 rounds, but it'll basically be him just wrestling for the next 2 rounds and then probably getting the decision win. So I am on Rizzybolov to get the win though, but I will warn you that if it's the last leg of your parlay, don't be afraid to hedge if it gets halfway through that second round. Because I could definitely see Stoltzfus winning this by decision if it gets that deep into the fight. Then our next fight is Sodiq Yusuff versus Marion Santos. This is a 50-50 fight. I've gone back and forth on this one here. A lot of people think that Yusuf is going to wrestle. He usually doesn't do it though, so I don't know what's going to happen here. But I am on Marion Santos. I think he's a better striker. I think he's the younger. Well, I don't think. I don't know. He's the younger, more powerful striker. I think he's the better striker. I think he's going to be better on the feet. Granted, Yusuf has fought the better competition, but Santos, I think he's a good prospect, and I'm going to go with him keeping the fight standing, and I like him at a minus 135. If you do like Yusuf, I would recommend taking his takedown prop if you can find it. Here in New York State, they took them all down for some reason this week. I don't know. I don't know why. They had them up last night, and then today they're gone. And DraftKings basically told me that they're not gonna be putting them back out, and they want to tell me why. Of course, you get that corporate answer every time you ask them a question. They don't ever give you a real answer. So, so I like Marion Santos in that fight. And then on to our next fight, we got Bellato versus Craig. Craig's only shot in this fight is basically pull guard and get a lucky ass submission. So if you want to hedge with Craig by sub at like a plus 600 or whatever, feel free, but I'm going to be on Bellato by knockout. So I did not use that as an official play though, but that is what I would play in this fight. And I am using the under 2.5 as a parlay piece. So I am using that as a parlay piece. Oh, and one other one is the fight before this, the Marion Santos versus Yusuf fight. I am using the over 1.5 as a parlay piece also. And I'll pull all these up at the end. Actually, I can pull that one parlay up now. And here it is. It's actually the Gordon Moises fight over 2.5 rounds, Yusuf Santos over 1.5, and Craig and Bellato under 2.5. Now, normally I don't like to use an under as a parlay piece, but I did on this one. Now, if you don't want to use an under as a parlay piece, and if you want to use something different, then I've also done another parlay where I've got the first two legs, and then my third leg is the main event, Morales versus Burns, to go over 1.5 rounds. And it's basically the same odds. It actually improves it to a plus 111. Or if you want to get real frisky, you could leave the parlay like this and add that one last leg to it, and it probably makes it closer to a plus 175 or something like that. And then on to our last fight, we got Michael Morales versus Gilbert Burns. And basically the way I see this fight is Michael Morales is basically a younger version of Gilbert Burns, except he's better everywhere. So my play for this is going to be Michael Morales, same game parlay, over a half a round and win by knockout, minus 105. He's a minus 150 to win by knockout. So that's how they expect him to win. So that's going to be my play. That's probably one of my favorite singles on the card. Is that right there? I just think he's going to be. I mean, Burns can grapple, but Morales is going to be able to grapple just a little bit better. Burns is a good striker with some power, but Morales is just going to be a little bit better of a striker. So those are the breakdown of the card, and I will now pull some stuff up for you. So here are some of my singles. I got the fight I just talked about. Michael Morales, same game parlay, over a half a round, and then the win by knockout, minus 105. Then I've got the Ruzy Bove KO, minus 115. And then I've got, this is one I did not talk about. I'm going to put a little bit on this. I was just trying to come up with something different. I think the Yusuf Santos fight goes a distance. And on DraftKings, you can pick fight to be won by unanimous decision. It doesn't matter who wins it. It just has to be won by unanimous decision, minus 105. So if there's a knockout, we lose. And if somebody wins by split decision, we lose. But if it goes a distance and it's a unanimous winner, then we win it. So I actually like that. And then I've got right here. I don't know if these are easily to be seen, but I've got the Gordon and Moises fight over 2.5 rounds. Yusuf Santos over 1.5. And Bellato Craig under 2.5 plus 106. And then I've got, if you take out Craig and add Burns over 1.5 rounds, so plus 111. Then I've got a 2-piece parlay of Pennington and Ruzy Bove, minus 132. And then here's where I put the sprinkles on the Pennington second round and third round KO, plus 3,100 and plus 3,500. And then I've got the Erosa Costa over 2.5 plus 124. Start the third round is a minus 115. So there you go. There you have it. That's my breakdown for UFC Fight Night 106, Morales versus Burns. Oh, and one last thing. If you want to look me up on Twitter, it is at @GGip on Twitter. I'll try and be active on there a little bit tomorrow, just in case someone wants to see if I'm on anything new, or I might have a last second play or something like that. I'll be posting these on Twitter at some point tomorrow morning or later on tonight. And I hope that everybody that watches this videos tails some of these picks, and hopefully we catch some winners here.